Hello everybody, welcome back. So for my NYX Face Awards entry, I decided to represent the beauty that we all have underneath our skin. No matter what is going on the outside, we all have some beauty on the inside. So I want to do this in a really cool special effects sort of way. Hope you guys enjoy it, and let's jump right in. So first things first, grab a white eyeliner and trace out where you want your wound to be. Because it's white, it's super easy to retrace and retrace until you like the way it looks, because you could easily wipe it away. Now for the fleshy part of the wound, I'm taking the silicone modeling compound and I'm mixing both parts, part A and part B, and I'm using the white that we just put down on the skin as a guideline as to where I'm going to put the silicone. So I'm basically just placing the silicone down onto my skin, and then I'm making sure that I blend out the edges onto my skin as well with the spatula. You want to do this by pushing the silicone down onto the skin and just smoothing it out so that it's nice and blended. This product takes a few minutes to dry, so then once it's about 90% dry, I'm taking my spatula and I'm making sure that I push the silicone upwards so that it actually looks like it is skin that is pushed out, which is pretty gross, but that's the effect that we're going for. Then I'm going in with my finger to create a really rough texture on top of the silicone to make it look a little bit more realistic and not so smooth. So obviously nobody's skin is naturally translucent, so I'm taking my foundation on a sponge and I'm just dabbing it on top of the silicone once it's completely dry in order to create a skin tone color and so that it blends a little bit better onto the skin. Then you want to take a translucent powder and you just want to set it so that it mattifies it and there's no shine. Now it's time for the fun part, to add in all the details. So I'm taking a contour powder. This is the NYX Blush in Taupe, and on a fluffy brush, I'm just applying this around all the edges on the inside as well as on the outside of the wound. This is going to create a lot of depth to the wound, and it's going to make it really pop out so it looks a little bit more realistic, and it will make it look like it's actually popping up from the skin and it's not just sitting on top of it. And you could definitely be a little heavy-handed with this because it is dramatic makeup, of course. So now I'm taking my NYX contour palette, I'm taking the darkest shade in there, which is a really, really dark brown, and on a more precise brush, I'm applying this right on the edge of the wound, and this will really lift it up. You could see how much dimension it adds as soon as you add that really dark color. It's all these little steps that will make everything look a little bit more realistic in the end. Now it's time to add some irritation to the wound. So I'm taking a bright red color from my alcohol activated palette, and on a textured sponge, I'm just dabbing that all around the wound. It's only natural if you have a huge wound on your face that it's gonna be a little bit irritated. Then I'm taking my sponge that has a little bit of foundation left over on it, and I'm just dabbing it along all the areas that I applied that irritated red color, just to soften it just a little bit and make it look like it's coming out from underneath the skin and it's not just sitting on top of it. Time for the star of the show, the glitter. I decided to use a rose gold. You could use any color of your choice, but I would suggest using something that contrasts with the blood that we're going to be applying a little bit later. Using a brush that's dipped into glitter adhesive, I'm applying that glitter all over my eye area, and you really want to make sure to pack it on so you're nice and sparkly. Going back into my alcohol activated palette, I'm taking the dark brown and a red, and I'm just using a paintbrush to paint along the edges of my wound, and this is going to create even more depth because I really want it to really pop from my skin. And then going into my textured sponge and running along the paint that I just applied to my skin just to make sure that it's not too perfect. Now I'm going in with my blood gel. This is my favorite part of the tutorial, and with my spatula, I'm just running that along the edges of the wound to create a very gory and bloody effect. And of course, blood is never neat, so feel free to splatter it all over your face if you want, but I decided to mainly focus it right on the edges of the wound and splatter it just a little bit near the eye. Going back into my alcohol activated paint one more time and taking the dark brown shade and applying it on the edge of the wound one last time because I felt like I lost a little bit of the intensity when I put the blood on, and I really wanted to make sure that that color was really nice and intense. And then going back in with my textured sponge and dabbing over all the edges to make sure that everything is not too perfect and that it looks nice and messy. So now we're pretty much done with the wound, so let's move on to the lips. So you could really use whatever you want. I decided to opt for a really dark purple shade. This is NYX Black Cherry, the Intense Butter Gloss. And for the rest of the face, I really wanted to keep it really simple since there obviously is so much going on the face. So I just decided to contour my cheekbones with this NYX Blush in Taupe, as well as my temples and my jawline. And I always make sure to blend everything down my neck as well. I think that by keeping the rest of the face really nice and simple, it makes the wound the center of attention and it really makes it stand out. So that is it for my NYX Face Awards entry. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to let me know what you thought in the comments down below. Click that thumbs up button. Of course, subscribe to my channel if you're not subscribed already. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.